Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another video for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And in today's video I want to speak to you guys about the first DLC pack. This morning Nintendo updated the official Zelda website with details with regards to what the first DLC pack will contain. For those of you guys that have bought the season pass, you'll know that up until now, the only things we've got are of course those 3 chests that spawn in the Great Plateau, one of which includes the Nintendo Switch shirt. However, the main reason for, of course, purchasing the Season Pass is to get access to the 2 DLC packs that will launch later this year. One of them will launch in summer, and one of them will launch at the end of the year. And up until now, they've shared a few details with regards to what we can expect in these packs. Things like hard mode difficulty, an activity that is comparable to, say, the Cave of Shadows from previous games, and also additions to the story. But today's update gives us a much greater look at what the first DLC pack will contain, so I thought I'd put together a video and show you guys exactly what we're going to get. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, and also let me know what you guys think of these, but let's get started. Now, the very first thing I want to speak about is the Trial of the Sword. This is Breath of the Wild's sort of equivalent to Cave of Shadows, so to speak, if you want sort of like an appropriate comparison. The description for this, the official description, says, when you get to a certain sacred location, you can take on a new Trial of the Sword challenge. Face an onslaught of enemies, one wave after another. Link starts the challenge without any equipment or weapons. When all the enemies in the room are defeated, Link proceeds to the next room. Clear all the trials, there are about 45 rooms in total, and the true power of the Master Sword will be awakened, and it will always be in its glowing, powered up state whilst usable. Now, for those of you guys that have used the Master Sword, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of this, but if you are in proximity to Guardians or bosses, or basically any of the kind of sort of calamity enemies, then your Master Sword will glow, and if memory serves me correctly, I believe the attack value for that then goes from being the base 30 to 60, which is pretty big on a one-handed weapon. To have a one-handed weapon dealing 60 damage, which is typically a value you see on two-handed weapons, is pretty good. So to be able to get it glowing all the time, no matter where you are in the world, means you're going to have a very powerful weapon. Now this is pretty exciting as well. I like the idea that it starts without gear, because if you guys have played the Eventide Island challenge in Breath of the Wild, that's probably one of my favourite things in the whole game. It was a really, really cool experience. I actually wish I could sort of replay that one, but that was a very cool activity. You basically go onto an island and you are stripped of all your gear, and you have to complete the challenge whilst using whatever you can find and scavenge on that island, and of course once you complete it you get your stuff back. So the idea of kind of going into this challenge, into this sort of, you know, trial, and you have to sort of scavenge whatever you can find, and I'd imagine anytime you complete a room there may well be, say, chests or items you get from enemies, and you use that to gear up and then progress forward. So you'll probably get to the point where when you get down to sort of, you know, the 45th room, you're probably going to be quite decked out, but that is still going to be a really cool, fun thing to play around with. I am super looking forward to that, and as mentioned, the notion of course, maxing out the Master Sword is pretty cool. Moving on from there to the next thing, you have something called Heroes Path Mode. Now this is, again, to kind of quote the website, a new map feature that shows the path Link has walked through Hyrule for the last 200 hours of gameplay. Use the time tracker bar to see where you've spent most of the time and where you've yet to explore. There's bound to be more adventures and maybe a shrine or two on the road less travelled. Now this is really useful because for those of you guys that are actually going for 100% completion, of course 100% completion ties to various different things like collecting all the Korok seeds, completing all of the quests and side quests, collecting all the different items, and also the other one that's probably going to be the most annoying one is actually place names. Whenever you kind of visit a new place, like when you walk to Elden Bridge, and the text comes up on screen and says you are in this location, that counts towards completion, and that's definitely been one of the things that I've been sort of holding off doing because it's definitely quite hard to track where you've been or sort of remember exactly where you have and haven't been. Whereas with this, as you can see in the gameplay in the background, there's a very short video they uploaded to the Japanese Nintendo YouTube channel. This shows the path that you've been. So if you are actively trying to explore the world and complete all the place names, work out exactly where you've been, then this will basically track your last 200 hours of travel. So it's definitely going to be considerably easier to work out where you have and haven't been. So very useful. On top of that, there's also going to be a new difficulty, hard mode. The hard mode this time around isn't just going to be a ramped up kind of enemy damage or enemy health bar. There are a few other changes as well. The first thing is that enemies will gradually regain health. So if you're ever fighting a big group of enemies and sometimes you attack, say, the enemy to the left and you then go and sort of, you know, deal with the one on the right and try and juggle them together, if you leave them too long, they will begin to regenerate health. So you are going to need to dispatch the enemies as quickly as possible. Also, all the enemies are going to be powered up by one level. So, for example, anywhere you would typically see red bokoblin, they will be replaced by a blue bokoblin. Of course, blue will be replaced by the albino one, etc., etc. So, high level enemies. The enemies can also have higher maximum levels, which of course means they will have more health and of course deal more damage. And the website also says that you will need to look up because you may also find enemies and chests in the sky on these sort of like floating platforms. It's going to be pretty funny when I can actually shoot those balloons and make the enemies fall down. Definitely looking forward to that one. But either way, that is going to be pretty cool. I have been looking forward to hard mode coming out because I do want to play through the game again. I've been sort of, gradually working towards my 100% completion. But I am really looking forward to doing a hard mode playthrough. One thing I do want to know is how they're going to handle the save file, because currently you can't have more than one save file on the same account. You basically have to create another user profile, which is easy enough to do on Nintendo Switch. I currently have two profiles, one for my save that I'm trying to work towards completion, and the other one for a save that I use when I'm streaming. So if they don't make any sort of change to the system, then you may well have to create a new Nintendo Switch profile to have like a hard mode save, but I'm hoping there may well be a better way to deal with that. Either way, that's hard mode. On top of that, they're going to introduce something called a travel medallion. Somewhere in the world there's going to be a chest with a travel medallion inside. When you use this item, you can register your current location as a fast travel point on the map, but you can only register one location using the travel medallion. So this is kind of similar to a system they had in Dragon's Dogma, where you basically had these crystals and you could then use them to travel between. This can be very useful because, of course, while there are lots of shrines all over the world, if there is a location you especially want to go to that there isn't necessarily a shrine really nearby, or maybe you want to put it as, say, your house in Hateno Village, or like another outpost you typically visit quite a lot, then you can use this and you basically have an additional fast travel point on the map. I'm going to assume because it's an item you can probably change that location from time to time, but either way that's going to be pretty nice to have. And then finally, the thing that I am most excited about, simply because I absolutely love collecting armor in this game. If you guys haven't seen my all armor video, I will link it down below. I currently have in my current save file all the armor sets, and that was probably one of the things that I enjoyed doing the most in Breath of the Wild, just going around collecting them all, combining them, sort of, wearing different sets and whatnot. So in the first DLC pack, they're going to be introducing 2 new complete armor sets and 3 additional helmets. So the helmets are Majora's Mask and Midna's helmet. These are really cool, of course. Majora's Mask is going to go quite nicely when the Fierce Deity Link amiibo comes out. We can, of course, get that armor set as well. And Midna's helmet can, of course, be worn when you're wearing the Twilight Princess gear if you so wish. And as for the third mask, this is the Korok mask, and this one actually has a specific use. This is designed specifically to help you find Korok. So the Korok mask will shake whenever Link is near a hidden Korok location. So if ever you're kind of roaming the world trying to find one of those places where, it's nearby, but maybe it's hidden under a rock, or you don't necessarily know there's a rock pattern or something, then wearing this will definitely make that infinitely easier. I do still need to try and get back to collecting all the Korok seeds at some point. I would like to try and complete the guide series that I started, but I've just been sort of super busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to return to that. But either way, Korok Mask will definitely help gathering all 900 Korok seeds. As for the complete armor sets, you have the Phantom armor, which is the Phantom helmet, armor, and greaves, and this is of course based on the Phantoms from Phantom Hourglass. And you also have Tingle's outfit. Yes, that's right, I was always sad that Tingle himself was not in the game, but now at least we can be Tingle. So currently there's no information with regards to the sort of bonuses or the stats on those gears, so we don't necessarily know exactly what abilities we're going to get just yet. But once I do find out, or the DLC releases, I'll be sure to let you guys know. As for where you're going to find these are all going to be located in treasure chests around the world. There are supposedly 8 treasure chests placed around Hyrule containing the armor theme from the previous Zelda games, and you're basically going to need to watch for tips to the whereabouts of these chests as you travel around Hyrule. So pretty vague, but of course if you combine the hero path with the the ability to kind of look for these chests, then at least you can track where you have and haven't been. Pretty cool. And of course that also applies to the Korok one, that's also going to be found in a chest. I will, of course, once the DLC comes out, find them myself to A, complete my collection, but also B, I will make a video once it's out to let you guys know where you can find all of these armor pieces. But for the time being, that is pretty much it. That is a breakdown of what the first DLC pack will include. I'm assuming that's all of it for the time being. The final note on the webpage does say DLC Pack 1 is just a taste of the content included in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild expansion pass. For more information and additional features, visit this link. So there may well be additional stuff, or they may be kind of hinting to the fact that DLC Pack 2, the one that they're actually going to use to expand the story, is going to be the more substantial one. But either way, I'm still super looking forward to it. More armor to collect, a new sort of challenge mode to check out, a means to upgrade the Master Sword, and some other cool items as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about all these different armor sets, which one is your favourite. And thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.